This is called This Is Stupid. Well, hello there. My name is HW.
Hey, I'm the Suze.
And Suze, this is... Look, we're at the part of profiling the world.
I knew you were going to say this.
It begs the question, is this... It feels stupid to buy an $1,800 Kemper and then play profiles
Through another piece of
through in this room, right? I mean, they're listening direct, but through another, what is this, $500?
Yeah. To emulate a...
$2,500, let's call it. To emulate the beautiful sounds of, are these $600 amps? I mean, but you can get them used. You can find used ones for $400.
Without even trying.
Yeah.
Just go onto Craigslist. It's like the home page.
Is that not the most like Sunday morning praise and worship move? You know? Boss RV5 tones out of a $400. Here's the thing. We're playing the Hot Rod B2. If you don't know what that is, this is a piece of historic Tone Junkie history here. You know why?
No.
This is the second most requested amp pack.
Oh, wow.
By far, these two amps together are the second most requested kind of little amps. I think of them together. It's the Hot Rod Deluxe from Fender and the Blues Junior.
Okay.
I put them together in this thing I can't say because there's no vowels. Modern Fender.
Oh, it's one of those like...
MDN... It's hard. I don't know. That's what the kids are doing.
Yeah.
It's trendy. It's hip.
You need vowels.
Okay, play this again. This is a beautiful, clean tone. It's the Hot Rod B2 profile. I even cleaned it up a little bit because why not? Because we have so much verb you can't even hear it anyway.
Right.
It sounds good. I'm going to go over to the little, we'll call this the Little Blues 2. Little Blues 2.
Oh, that other one was the...
That other one was the Hot Rod.
Deluxe.
And then here, check this out. Here's a similar sound with the blues, the Little Blues. Nice.
That's really
nice. It's great.
Yeah.
You want a little fatness on there, and it's gonna sound like this.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people may be going, HW, I couldn't even hear any of those guitar tones that the Suze just played because you just kept turning the reverb up. And you just keep turning the delay up.
What do you have to say in response?
And when I would say, well, okay, you're 100% right. Because what would be the point of trying to really hear the nuances of a $400 amp captured through a $2,500 rig?
Right. It's part of your point just to go buy these amps because they sound great and they're cheap.
Look, I mean, here's part of the point. I mean, we're on a mission to profile the world, and I've had people requesting these amps for so long.
And that, I want to pause right there because you're starting with a statement about why would we even do this?
Well,
contrasted with it being the most requested,
well, yes, and this is sort of the rub, right? I would say, so here's my opinion of these two amps. Yeah. Suze, do you know anyone in this world who owns more amps than HW?
Oh, no.
No. No. You never met John Mayer?
I'm looking at 20 amps right now.
They're off camera. Off camera. They're not even these.
Yeah.
You could go, I mean, the next room over, you can see there's more amps in the next room over.
Yeah.
Look down that hallway. How many amps in that hallway?
There's
just
more.
walk by?
You're declaring yourself as an amp expert. I mean, you know how these amps sound.
I'm just saying I know how they all sound. I played them all. I own them all. You've played them all.
Under like a microscope. I mean, changing settings, listening a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Really giving some focus here. And I'll tell you this. Is there a better amp than the Blues Junior on the market today for the money? Maybe you could say, oh, there's this Black Star amp. You know, or, oh, you could get this little Ampeg used for this. But I'm saying, no. I mean, for the money, the Blues Junior, I think, is the best thing. In this pack, could I toot my own horn and say, I think I made it sound better than it does in real life?
Right.
I think all small amps kind of take on a little more of a rock and roll vibe when you close mic them because it loses some of the boxiness of like a small amp. And then also, I'll definitely say the Hot Rod Deluxes sound better in this Kemper profile pack than they do in real life.
Okay.
Because, I don't know. because I think they're a little too bassy and woolly on the drive channel. I just think it's not so usable. And so if you kind of just, you put a dynamic mic and it kind of fixes the thing.
I gotcha. Okay.
But what is the point? Like, a lot of people have been wanting these, and they're kind of a sound. They're super generic sounding. There's no one's buying this pack after seeing this video. But the point, but I think they're actually super usable, and they're really they actually are surprisingly good tones that are produced by these amps. But they're available at every Guitar Center. And it brings me to, why would people want these in a Kemper?
I think one of the reasons might be that you touched on it earlier, I guess this week or whatever, that like high-end gear does not always equal good tone, you know? And this is the same reason we might use like a cheaper guitar for a part, or, you know, it's not always like the most expensive thing is what we want to hear, like when we're recording or writing a song or whatever. And so, and the other thing is people are used to these amps. They've played them for 10, 15 years. And when they think about their guitar, they think about these amps. They went to this for other reasons. They want to be quiet on stage. They want to have variety, but they don't want to lose the sound they're used to hearing. You know?
And you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of how we really like things like Les Paul Juniors and Princeton reverbs and things that were designed to be student models.
Oh, right.
They were purposefully made cheap so that students would have something to buy, sort of hit up all the price ranges. And now they're worth a ton of money.
Yeah.
And yes, the top of the range is a twin reverb, a dual Showman, you know, a Marshall Plexi, a Les Paul 59. Yes, that's the top of the range at the time, and those are worth more even today. But it, like you said, there's a Fender Deluxe Reverb was not the top of the line. Probably because it was not that it was the bottom of the line, but but you know, the Vibro Champ, maybe how many things have been recorded with an amp like that? I don't know. There's a place for really great outcomes, you know, even if it's not the most choice thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you ever taste a chicken nugget? It's freaking delicious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people, I don't eat McDonald's, it's disgusting.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We got fine dining in downtown Nashville, but a chicken nugget is still
But often, I like to go to McDonald's because it's delicious and they sound good.
Yeah.
I want to switch guitars. I want to do two sounds that I do not think is stupid, even though this whole premise is a little stupid. If you want a Blues Junior, would you just go buy a Blues Junior?
Right.
Maybe go buy a Blues Junior. But let's listen to these two sounds, and then I'm going to tell you why I think people really want these, and why I think people are going to buy this pack. They're going to want this pack, and I think they're going to go, finally, you did these amps. That literally takes me back to every indie band I saw in San Francisco from the age of 18 to 25. 1 in the morning, dive bars. The whole music scene was that sound.
Right.
And then you get other stuff like this, like try on the bridge with this thing. It's a thing, man. Jump to the neck right there. Where am I going? B2. Hot Rod B2. It's going to be clean. That was the intro to some song that was hot for a minute. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's like, is that an OK Go song? I think it is.
Yeah, then the drums come in.
Exactly. Yeah. I think there's a thing here that it's easy to gloss over $400 amp captured by a $2,500 rig. What's the point? Go get the amp. You can get them super cheap. You could probably find a Blues Junior for $300. I would bet you can.
Right.
Hot Rod Deluxe, you could steal one, and I don't think they would even report it. You know what I'm saying? You could go get one from Guitar Center right now and go return it on like day 29. Can you still do that?
Probably.
I haven't done that in a long time. But the thing is, I think it goes back to, in one respect, it's stupid, but in the other respect, I'm going to take this out and use this sound, and I don't have to mic up another thing. I get the digital gives me the option of having that sound, but I'm not locked into that sound, because the downfall of these two amps is they sound like that, and that's a cool thing, but they don't really do anything else. All the modern Fenders are like, they kind of do a Fender-y thing, but they don't have a great drive channel. They really don't. And they don't. And these drive profiles sound better than they do in real life, and I'm telling you they do. Right. Because they don't sound that great in real life. Yeah. Almost to the point that I was like, I'm not going to profile these. And I thought, no, you got to figure out how to make them sound good. Are they the best profiles we've ever shot? Well, they sound kind of like the amp. So, but I don't like the amp that much on the drive channel.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you're not locked into that. I could take this to church, and I have all the luxury of all the effects built in, all the whatever automation I want to set up on my performances and everything. I've got all that. So is it stupid?
Okay, where I see myself using this is more like studio recording and that kind of stuff. I'm pulling up Matchless, I'm pulling up Purple Plexi, these $10,000 amps. I might fall on something like that.
They're not literally 10,000.
I mean, some of them.
A couple of them are 10,000, but not Plexis. I was thinking the Matchless. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But like all these high-end, hard-to-find amps. But I might land on something like that and play the part and go, nailed it. That's what that's the part I hear in my head. And so just having it in the the quiver of arrows. Is I think it rounds out
the quiver of arrows. I like that.
They're not all the fastest, coolest arrows.
Are you watching Hawkeye right now?
No, I should.
You just pulled that out, unrelated to the latest Marvel show.
It's pretty good.
So, hey, facepalm. People are, trying to get Blues Junior tones on the Kemper. Yeah. I mean, it's so silly. It's ridiculous.
The people have asked for
it. But people have asked for it because I think it's utility.
Yeah. I love it.
There was a time when maybe people would say, you get rid of that little Fender Princeton kid and go get this crate half stack. This is the real. And it's like I have my grandfather who gave me, there's an amp in the back there. If you go watch me doing the tour of all these amps, there's a story about that amp over there. But I got that amp from him, and he had an original 65 Mustang that he let his nephew play in a band, and he went and got it repaired. And wouldn't you know it, in the mid 80s, some guitar tech convinced him that those pickups in there were dumb and they didn't sound very good, and he should replace them with these pickups. They're a lot better. We don't have the original pickups.
Right. Yeah, long gone.
Long gone. Long gone. And you know what? They weren't that great.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think most people love original Mustangs for that reason. Maybe you do because they're a thing. But It's a modern world, and it's a changing world. The amp is dying. It really is. You know? Mm-hmm. How many posts in all these guitar groups do we see about, have you tried the new Axe effects? Mm-hmm. Have you tried the Quad Cortex?
Yeah, DC.
Do you think, how's the Kemper feel compared to this? Mm-hmm. Helix this. Is Helix 2 coming out? Seems like there's more people criticizing Helix because they think Helix 2 is coming out than are criticizing people who use Helix because it's not a real amp anymore.
Oh, right.
It feels like a complete shift.
Yeah.
Complete shift.
Uh-huh. Well, I'd love to know what people think about these.
Yeah. Is this stupid? What do you think? I kind of think it's dumb, but also I totally get it.
Promises were made. Profiled the entire world.
Exactly.
And that includes these two.
Exactly.
These two gems.
Exactly. These are gems. They are modern classics. They're the Toyota Corolla Honda Civic of amps. And that's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I drive an Altima.
I'm not going to put up... There you go. Yeah. I love it. I'm not going to put... My wife has Sienna. You know?
Right.
Toyota Sienna. We're not replacing it because it's great.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to go to a sports bar or barber shop and expect to see really cool photography and like a poster on the wall of a Honda Civic stock turning around the track or something?
Like 20 miles an hour. It's like, look at that thing.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah. But you know what? Somebody got to a very important moment in their life in a Honda Civic. And that makes it just as good as anything else.
Well.
You know what I'm saying?
It's got like philosophical.
Maybe. Suze, play us out on this modern classic. I'm going to give you my favorite, the Blues Junior. This is actually a really great amp, I'll be honest with you. The Blues Junior impressed me. I haven't owned one in a while. But here is the Blues Junior Fat 3 Plus. I think it's got a great fat switch. It doesn't have a bright switch. It doesn't need it. It's voiced beautifully. It's got a great master. It's got reverb, and I think it sounds great. I think it's better than a Hot Rod Deluxe, if you ask me. I wouldn't buy a Hot Rod Deluxe, even though I did for this. I would, however, buy a Blues Junior and keep it if I was just looking for another amp. They're ridiculously cheap. I think they are worth way more than they cost. And if I had 2 or 3 amps and there was a Vox and maybe something else, I'd buy a Blues Junior just for the heck of it. The Edge plays one in his rig along with 57 Deluxes and 58 Deluxes and all that stuff. He's got a Blues Junior in there, and I think that's as good an endorsement as any. I have been HW.
I've been the Suze.
Suze, play us out. HW and the Suze.
Out.